What's up YouTube? Jeff back again from DopeTechDaily.com. Today I'm bringing you guys my video on a review of the Moto mods for the Moto Z and the Moto Z Force Droid edition from Verizon. Now, a shout out to Verizon. They did send me a couple of these mods for review. I purchased the speaker mod. They also sent me one for review, but they sent me the projector mod, which is a $300 mod. I didn't plan on buying my own. This one, of course, is the style shell. Comes in the box on both of the phones, so you'll get this if you buy either of the phones. I just want to talk a little bit about the thickness and the feel of this mod. It's the simplest of all of them. I'm just going to give an overview of my experience. I was on vacation, as you guys may know, in Pittsburgh. I used all of these modules while I was gone, so I want to give you guys some experience and sort of my feedback from using them. So I'll go ahead and start with this one, the style mod. Let me just put these other ones to the side while we talk about the style mod. The style mod, of course, as I said, is the simplest of all of the modules. And of course, in order to use it, you're going to need one of these two phones. I've got the Moto Z, the Force, and then I've got the regular Moto Z Droid edition right there. So you can already see these two phones. As you probably know from the specs, the Moto Z Force is a lot thicker than the Moto Z, the regular Moto Z. They both got that nice little Moto logo on the back. They're both fingerprint magnets. At the bottom there, you can see the module pins where they connect. Same little camera there. The difference is mainly the thickness and some other specs. I'll have a full comparison of these two in a video. Anyway, you can go ahead and affix this style shell to the back of either one. It does make the camera sort of flush with the body. It's actually a little recessed. Someone asked me in my other video, if the camera is completely flush, then how does it protect the camera if you sit it down? Well, actually, it's a little bit recessed, which you guys can see right there from that shot. Now, if you add it to the Moto Z Force Droid, of course, it adds some thickness, and this phone is already a little bit thicker, so it does give you a little bit of thickness, but it does give you a nice grip and a nice texture. I don't particularly like the wood version because it does get some fingerprints as well, as you actually can see there. You can see the woods become two different colors because actually I hold the phone back here, so my fingerprints or my sweat or whatever gets on the bottom part of the style shell, and the top part of the style shell you can see up here, the color is still much darker. You guys can see there if I get some good light on it. It's much darker because I haven't actually touched that with the palm of my hands. So it does have some nice grip. I don't necessarily like this particular style shell, the wooden one that comes in there. I may get some of the ballistic nylon or the leather and try those out. I might order those from the Motorola website. Of course, you can also put this on the Moto Z, the regular Moto Z. And now I highly recommend a style shell if you're going to get the thinner Moto Z because it's actually kind of hard to grip and it's got sort of a sharp texture to it if you're not using the style shell. So I really recommend that you do use a style shell if you have the smaller Moto Z, the regular one, instead of the Force Droid. Of course, it's good for both because then you don't have that nice big camera hump on the back that most people don't want. So it is a good thing to have on both, but I think the style shell is definitely an essential tool if you're not going to use a case on the skinnier Moto Z. All right, so I just want to talk about the feel on sort of both of the phones. Doesn't add much thickness on this one. In fact, the added thickness makes this phone easier to hold. So the other mods, I'm actually not going to really put it on both phones because, you know, you guys can get an idea of how much thickness it adds. So I'll just use the Force Droid here to talk about all of the other mods. The first mod I'll talk about here is the battery pack. Now, as you guys know, I talked about this in the unboxing video. You can see right there, this is the Tumi battery pack right there. You can see the Tumi branding on the bottom. It also has wireless charging built in, so you can actually sit this on a wireless charger. It'll charge up the power pack if you just sit the power pack on there by itself. If you actually affix the power pack to the phone, snap on the mod, you're going to get a notification for one thing, which I showed. It tells you the Moto mod battery is low. I was just charging it up today because I used it. But you're going to get the option to sit the whole thing on the wireless charger, and then it will go ahead and charge up your phone, and then it'll charge up the battery pack as well. So if you want to use this sort of wireless charging feature, which is not a part of the Moto Z by default, you can pick up this battery pack, and then that'll give you the wireless charging feature added to the Moto Z Force Droid or the Moto Z. Now, it does add quite a bit of thickness on the wireless charging Tumi battery pack, as you guys can see. The Moto Z Force Droid is already pretty thick, so it's going to feel like a bit of a brick, not as bad as some of those zero lemon battery cases that you see for the Notes or the Galaxy S7 Edge or whatever, but it does add some thickness. The main complaint that I've had with this particular mod is that you actually lose some battery capacity. You're supposed to, as you can see, let me peel this off here. I mentioned this in my unboxing video as well. If you look right here, you can see you're supposed to have 2200 milliamp hours on this battery pack. but you don't get anywhere near 2200 milliamp hours of actual charge going to the phone. There's some loss of energy transfer there between the battery pack and the phone. So I think you really get about 1600, 1500 milliamp hours, maybe 1700. But you definitely lose some in that energy transfer, which means you're maybe going to get 45%, something like that, 45% to 50% at maximum additional charge. It's also very, very slow. So if you're the kind of person who wants to use this sort of to top off, and get a lot of charge, then that's fine, but you're going to want to put this on and sort of use it throughout the day. There is an option in here to keep the phone at 80%, which will let you do. So you go to battery mode, you can change that to efficiency mode, which is going to keep the phone at 80%, but the Moto Mod battery lasts longer. So that's something that'll help you stretch out and get closer to that actual 2200 milliamp hours. This is not something you want to sort of put on and try to get a whole bunch of charge on the phone once the phone's almost dead. If you try to do that, you're definitely not going to get the amount of charge that you want on it. And it does look really sleek, actually. Sort of brushed metal look with the Tumi branding. Looks pretty nice. So those are my thoughts on the Tumi wireless charging Moto Mod. The next one is the JBL speaker. So the JBL Sound Boost speaker right here. It's got the kickstand. I showed this also the unboxing. Some JBL branding right there, of course, on the Sound Boost speaker as well. This is great for people who like to watch videos or listen to media, and you don't have to carry around a separate Bluetooth speaker. I found the battery life on the speaker to be very, very impressive. You can see I still got 40% battery. I actually watched quite a few videos while I was in Pittsburgh, and also listened to quite a bit of music in my hotel, and this thing still got quite a bit of battery life on it. Overall, it's very, very impressive. Kickstand, super convenient. And overall very loud. It's louder than any other phone speakers that you're going to find. It's definitely louder than the Axon 7 or the Alcatel Idol 4S speakers. I'll just play a little bit of audio from my last video. You guys can see how loud. This menu. So if we go into settings here, the drop-down menu is what you would expect, to get from stock Android. Doesn't look too bad. You can see here also the settings of the actual. So you can see right there, very, very loud indeed. And let me just also give you guys just a quick media comparison. Let me find another quick video here on YouTube where I can play a little bit of media for you.
Flying overseas, turning dreams into habits, turning coast to first classes. Mom, I'm never moving back, and I put 6 years in the flow. Okay, no wonder it got mastered. The flow needed damn why it's doing too much damage. God damn, it's good to get it even better.
So as you guys can hear right there, the music on this thing is just phenomenal. Even better if I had to turn around facing, but probably you're going to use the kickstand if you're watching videos to face it this way. Really impressed with the JBL speaker mod. Now obviously it does add a ton of thickness to the phone, which is my main complaint with it. But the thing is, this is not a mod you're going to be using all the time. You can take this off, put it in your bag, and then you'll be good to go when you want to listen to some music. It is certainly more compact than carrying around the phone and also a Bluetooth speaker. And it is comparable to some cheaper Bluetooth speakers that you might find on Amazon, even though it does cost 80 bucks. Best Buy had a bundle where you get this guy for free if you pre-order the phone, and that's how I actually got it. I pre-ordered from Best Buy and got this guy included. I definitely plan on using this in my office just to have this sort of nice attachment. I can put it right on the phone, and then if I want to pick it up and go somewhere and listen to some more music, I can do that as well. So overall, I found the battery life to be very, very good. I think you can easily get, if you're listening to it on a reasonable volume, you can easily get 8 hours of listening time, maybe even more if you're listening to it on low volume. And if you listen on super high volume, like my buddy Flossie Carter always says, you may get 4 or 5 hours on this particular speaker mod. Don't expect to get the advertised 8 to 10 hours if you're listening to super high volume, loud music on it all the time. So anyway, very impressed with this mod. It's definitely my favorite mod. I highly recommend picking it up, especially if you can get it in some sort of bundle deal. The very last mod here that I want to talk about, we got the projector mod here, which is the one that Verizon sent to me. And as I mentioned, the projector mod is a bit expensive. You're talking about 300 bucks here for this module. You do get a nice carrying case for 300 bucks with some Moto branding right there. It's got some sort of, as Flossie Carter again would say, this is like some velvet material, not leather or anything crazy. But it is nice to have that to carry it around in. If you snap this on, you can go ahead and use it just like any other module. You get a little bit of vibration to tell you that it's on there. And then you can see the battery amount there as well. So the Instashare Projector, it has a button over here, the projector's right there. You can see the projector's right there. The button there, you have to hold it, turn it on. And then here, this is a focus wheel where you can actually focus the projector. if you're watching something. So if I go back into YouTube here, I can just project really quick this video that we were watching from Bullet RC. And let's see if I can just go ahead and show how the projector does work. You can see there already. And so then if you have the video there, you can focus it in to get a nice picture. So there I see a project the video on the actual table here that I'm doing the review on, and you can go ahead and press play and then watch the video. So obviously you can go ahead and play with the focus wheel and get it into the best focus for the surface you're using it on, project it up on your wall, etc., wherever it is you want to watch it. The projector module is certainly a cool idea. I definitely think it's a nice idea, but I don't think it's going to appeal necessarily to the general public. One of the problems with the projector module, aside from it making the phone very thick, just like the speaker module, of course you can just put it in your bag. That itself is not a problem, but it costs $300. You only get 480p resolution on the projector. So for that, you're not going to get the best picture. It's not like you're going to use this to watch media or movies. You're going to pull out your phone, you're going to pull out your tablet or your computer to watch that media because you want the higher resolution. The best case use for this I can see is if you're a business professional, or like me, you're a professor, you want to use this in the classroom or something just to impress your students as a novelty, or if you really need it, in a pinch to show a business associate some presentation, a PowerPoint or an Excel, something like that. You can use the projector to project that and get some actual work done. But for $300 price point, it's mainly going to appeal to those enterprise customers that have a serious need for the projector and not so much the everyday consumer who's just interested in it because it's cool. Now, you guys know I love cool things, and I would not have spent the $300 on this. Thank you to Verizon for sending this out so I could play with it. I do think it's a cool concept. I just hope they can bring the cost down a little bit, and I think more people will be interested in it. It's definitely cool to show this off to your neighbors, your friends, that your phone has this ability, but I don't know that everyone will be interested in it at this price point. So overall, I think that all of the modules that Motorola put together that I've talked about today, if I bring them back in here, they did a pretty good job putting together a set of modules that people would be interested in. I think they did a much better job than LG. You guys know I was not a huge fan of the modular implementation on the LG G5. There just weren't enough modules available, and they didn't do enough things. Here, obviously, the battery pack could use some work. The projector may be a little overpriced, but the JBL Sound Boost and the Style Mods are two things I definitely recommend you pick up. I just don't necessarily like the wood. I think the Sound Boost mod is worth it, though, for a lot of people, and definitely a good idea. So I hope that Motorola continues innovating on this. They say that all these modules will work with the next generation Moto Zs next year, which is a great thing if you're going to stay in this ecosystem. Hopefully they'll improve upon it and add some new mods. All right, guys, so that's my quick overview. If you guys have any questions or comments you want to add to this, drop me a comment below in the comment section. I'll also get back to you guys, no problem. If you have any questions, you can find me at dopetechdaily.com, Instagram, Twitter, and Google Plus at the links in the description. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy my content. I really appreciate you checking out this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks a lot for watching.